Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this series we're going to be going over the sun signs, okay? The sun in the signs. And in this episode we're going to be talking about the sixth sign, Virgo, okay? Virgo, having your sun in Virgo, okay? And that is my placement, okay? My sun sign's in Virgo, so I'm definitely excited for this one. But before we get into that, definitely want to remind you guys, if you want to book a reading with me, you certainly can. All you have to do is email me at samastroreadings@gmail.com. That's samastroreadings@gmail.com. I do tarot as well as astrology birth natal chart readings and both, and we could definitely go forward with that as long as you email me. All right, so definitely check that out if you're interested in a reading. So getting back into sun in Virgo, okay? Yes, sun in Virgo. If you were born between the dates of August 23rd and September 22nd, my friend, you are a sun in Virgo, and happy early birthday to us sun in Virgos, okay? And the first thing I want to point out with sun in Virgo is this, the sun goes into Virgo during the transitioning season, so going from summer to fall, okay? So this is a transitioning season, and this season is also kind of what I would consider the cleanup after Leo season, okay? Leo season's big. It's all about celebration. It rules birthdays, all this partying. So then Virgo season comes up, and I look at Virgo season like after you have the big party, and then, you know, your parents are coming in, and then you got to clean up everything. So this is Virgo season. We're cleaning up. And Virgo season has a very refreshing energy because, like I said, it's getting cooler, okay? So all the heat, you know, like August is like the climax, you know, July and August are like the climax of the summer, so it's very, very hot. So when you transition to a cooler weather, it feels more refreshing, okay? It's that refreshing feeling when you clean something up, you know? It's pure, it's refreshed, so definitely a cleaning, refreshing, purifying season, transitional season. You know, that is why us Virgos are the way we are. We're all about purification, cleaning, cleansing, making things right. So the first thing I can say about sun in Virgos is this is a placement that can manifest a workaholic, okay? Definitely can manifest a workaholic, someone who likes to work, get busy. The sun represents the daytime, and the daytime is when we're active, okay? The sun is our expression, it's our actions, it's our behaviors, okay? It's what we are when we're on, okay? Not when we're asleep, when we're on. And Virgo being all about routine, work, productivity, the worker of the zodiac signs. This is what sun Virgos are all about. So a lot of sun Virgos are going to be big workers. You know, they're always going to be busy, have something that they got to do. It's how they express themselves. It's how they get into action. They're all about their daily routines, their errands, the work that they have to get done. So a lot of sun Virgos are very much workers. They like to get productive. They like to keep active. Very much almost similar to a sun in Gemini, how they're very active too and busy, but with Virgos is very productive. It's very much about work. It's very much about maintenance and our stability. So everything we're doing is very, very productive, and it's very a huge trait with sun and Virgos. Definitely busy people. They can be huge workaholics because, again, your sun is how you express yourself and how you identify with yourself. So you're identifying with work. Work is, sun and Virgos, like work is a part of our identity. It's what we see ourselves as. Like, we're not working, we're not living, kind of. So definitely sun and Virgos, a lot of sun Virgos can be about work. They could be workaholics, always about getting their things done. Makes them very responsible, very productive. But also be careful of burnout, okay? Be careful of burnout because even though we can turn on and get our works done and get our routines done and all that type of stuff, you have to understand the personality of the sun. The sun can handle routines because it's the sun. It rules Leo. It's fixed. So, you know, it comes up every day. It does its day, you know, its routine all the time. So there is a routine when it comes to sun. But with Virgo being so aggressively based off of routine and the sun being this fiery star, the sun has a spontaneous, creative aspect to it. And because Virgo is very mechanical, technical, it can kind of suffocate your spirit, okay? Your spirit is about working, but it's also about expressing yourself freely and being creative and being fun. So a lot of times with Sun and Virgos is basically what I'm saying, this spontaneous energy, this creative, expressive energy can feel suffocated through the rigorous routines and the work that you have to do. It's almost like you're kind of robotic, and that can burn you out, okay? Like I said, your sun is your spirit. It's your expressive energy. It rules Leo. It rules, expressing yourself creatively, spontaneously, and having fun. And a lot of those things are restricted in the sun because it's in Virgo, and Virgo is about routine work. And yes, the sun can handle work because the sun is fixed. It's about routine, but to a certain extent, and none of that funness, that fun, expressive, spontaneous energy is in Virgo. So again, like I said, a lot of Sun and Virgos are huge workaholics. They're very productive, but a lot of that work can burn them out. A lot of times the Sun and Virgos do get burnt out by our work. A lot of times the Sun and Virgos can take on work that is too much for us, and then we realize like, oh my God, this is not normal as a human being. Also with Sun and Virgo, Sun being our identity, okay, how we identify with ourselves, Virgo being very critical. Sun and Virgos are definitely very critical of their identity, of who they are. Very strong critics. You hear this a lot about Sun and Virgos. They can criticize you, but it's because they're their greatest critics, and that is 100% true. Like, huge criticalness against yourself, against your energy, against your personality, against who you are. Sun and Virgos do critique themselves a lot. And again, it goes along with that kind of restrictive energy. And it can manifest great way because Sun and Virgos, they can present themselves very nicely. They can just make sure that they're very prepared for how they're going to present themselves to the world, how they're going to act. So well rehearsed is what I can say. Virgos are well rehearsed, which can lead to a very great performance. But however, a lot of this is due to strong criticism. I don't want to look this way. Oh my God, my body looks weird. Or why do I say things like this? Or damn, I need to stop talking like that. Or damn, I should have swore this and this would have looked better. Or why am I doing things this way? Or comparing yourself to other people. Self-criticism is strong in Sun and Virgos. And like I said, it can be your greatest strength and your biggest weakness at the same time. Because at one point, it does make you present yourself well. It makes you very well rehearsed, very organized, very prepared, Sun and Virgos. However, it could just be so restricting in terms of the criticism, the critics, like the voice in your head. Sun and Virgos, that voice in your head that's like constantly criticizing everything could be a lot for a Virgo, okay? So be very careful of the self-criticism. Use it to your advantage. Do not overdo it. We are not perfect, Sun and Virgos. You can strive for perfection, which is what I think all people with Virgo energy, whether it's in your moon, sun, or whatever, strive for perfection because it makes you perform well. Look how well we present ourselves. However, do not think that you will always reach it. Do not think it will be reached. Do not think it has to be reached. Just make it a point to strive for, because again, you will never reach this perfection. So the self-criticism just piles on. So be careful, Sun and Virgos, because this can really restrict your self-expression, okay? And it can make you feel very uncomfortable with yourself. So use your self-criticism to make you do better, but don't make it something that you literally have to achieve or fulfill, because perfection isn't real, really. It really isn't real. It exists with imperfections. So if we can understand that, we can feel more comfortable with ourselves and not be so self-critical and not have such a strong negative judgment voice in our head all the time. You got to regulate that. So also, Sun and Virgos, we naturally have a more reserved personality and energy, okay? The Sun represents our personality, what we're expressing, this extroverted energy. You put into Virgo, with the criticalness and the analyzing and all the mental energy, like Sun and Virgos, we're more reserved, okay? We're not going to be like the Sun and Leos who are just out here just trying to express themselves and connect to everyone and get all this attention, or Gemini's trying to connect with and communicate with everybody. Like, we're more reserved. We like to analyze. We like to reserve our energy. And this is for many reasons. This is for one, because we're critical. So we like to rehearse first. We like to analyze first. We like to see the setting first, you know? So we're not going to run and express ourselves. But also, we're also very analytical. There's a lot going in our minds. There's a lot going in our inner world. So Sun and Virgos can be introverted. Not all the time. It depends on your rising sign, your moon. There are many things that can play, okay? But for the most part, or for this position, this Sun in Virgo position, if you isolate it, it is an introverted energy. So Virgo does make the Sun, your spirit, more introverted because you're analyzing, you're preparing, you're rehearsing. So you step back and you kind of read people first. So definitely a more reserved, introverted personality. Sun and Virgos, they have a very strong mind, okay? A very busy mind, okay? Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So it's a mental, very mental sign. So Sun being how we express ourselves, Sun and Virgos, we're all expressing through the mind. Sun and Virgos are very smart, very analytical, very mental. Okay, Sun and Virgos, there's a lot going on in our minds. Like, we're constantly thinking, analyzing people, us, ourselves, situations. You know, again, with more reserved people, there is, just because they're not expressing a lot doesn't mean what's usually happening is a lot of things going in the inner world. Okay, so your mind, your emotions. But with Virgos, very mental, analytical. A lot of conversations with our mind, a lot of analyzing, a lot of talking in our mind, looking at details, figuring things out. Very mental. It's a very mental energy. And it's a little bit different than Sun and Gemini, because Sun and Gemini is a lot of mental energy too. We're ruled by the same planets. But Virgo is the introverted part of Mercury, while Gemini is the extroverted part of Mercury. So Gemini is going to be very mental, but communicating it and expressing it, you know, being extroverted with it. But us Virgos, we're going to be like in the mind with it. So we have so much going on in our mind, so much dialogue, so much analyzing, so much thinking, a lot of mental processes. And a lot of Sun Virgos people are very smart, very analytical, very smart, very good to details, very good at retaining information, building skills, because so much is going through their mind, very busy mind. And it can also make them express themselves in even a nervous, almost jittery way. You know, there could be a nervous energy that goes along with all that mental energy, just like Sun and Geminis. But regardless of the fact, Sun and Virgos are very smart people, very analytical, very great when it comes to using the mind and analyzing things. Just a very smart person in general. Don't get into an argument with Sun and Virgo. Also with Sun and Virgo, these people can be very body conscious, very image conscious, okay? Just like Sun and Leo. Sun and Leo is very much about the image and how you express yourself, because the Sun is how we express ourselves. It represents our image. And with Sun and Virgo, this is a perfectionist image. So Sun and Virgos, when it comes to the way we dress and present ourselves, we are perfectionistic. We like to get our hair cut done nicely, match our clothes very nicely. The way you put things together has to be neat, has to be very perfectionistic presentation, okay? Very much so. And we like to have a very clean, slick look. Like our look, just like Virgo is about perfection. So we're presenting ourselves in a very nice way. We want to look nice, dress nice, have something that matches, you know, just color coordinating. All the intricate pieces like of our style is put together very nicely. There's a very perfectionistic presentation. So when it comes to fashion, when it comes to how you present yourself, how you look, even when it comes to working out, your body, what you're presenting to the world, you want it to be perfect, nice, and on point. You know, Sun and Virgos can be just like Sun and Leos, always going to the gym to make sure that they look nice. You know, the difference I would say is that Sun and Virgo is very perfectionistic with it. So we're going to be very serious and really make it a routine and really make sure everything is put nicely. Like, you know, we present ourselves well, everything like matches in the right way, everything complements each other very nicely, like very put together, whereas Sun and Leo would be a little bit more spontaneous. Yes, they like to look nice too, but Sun and Leos can be more spontaneous and can take kind of almost like risks with their look, whereas Virgo, we're more reserved. We're about perfecting the look. So it's not about taking risks and just putting on anything and being spontaneous like a Leo and just putting on any colors, but it's about getting the look right, making sure things match, making sure things are presentable. So Sun and Virgos, they have a sleek, perfectionistic look, okay? Not all of them. There are some messy Sun Virgos, trust me, who aren't dressing right, aren't presenting themselves at all. Maybe, you know, their rising is in Pisces. It depends on your chart, but if you do generalize the Sun and Virgo placement, it is a very perfectionistic presentation. Also, with Sun and Virgo, these people, including myself, we're big on health, okay? Even if we're not the most healthiest people, we will even be conscious about health because Virgo rules the body and maintaining in terms of maintaining it, maintenance, okay? Cleaning out the body, eating the right foods, your diet, how you're taking care of your body, how you're maintaining it. And Sun is all about our personality and our egos and what we're all about. So a lot of times Sun and Virgos are big on health. They're big on eating properly, taking care of your body, correct hygiene, stuff like that, your health, your physical body, maintenance, eating properly, your diet. Those things are very big with Sun and Virgos. They can be really big about, you know, just dieting and health. And this could also be play a role into why they're working out a lot too. It could be for health reasons as well. So very much big on health and just maintaining the body, maintaining the presentation, you know, maintaining the perfection. With Sun and Virgos, especially if you've dated one, you're going to realize that us Sun and Virgos are very big on routine. Every day has a schedule. And if it doesn't, we're going to create it because we live and operate on patterns. You know, Virgo rules work. Think about your 9 to 5. You go there all the time. It's a repeated routine, okay? And this is how we are. And this is why we like to make lists. We like to make schedules. Like every day I wake up, I like to write a list of the things I'm going to do. It makes it so much more easier for me to do them. Whereas other places and signs kind of just can go with the flow, you know. But with Sun and Virgos, you're going to realize that these people are very routine based. You know, you might be realizing like, damn, you really do this every single day. You really have a list of what you do every single day. You really be jotting things down. And yes, you know, we are very routine based. If you're dating a Sun or Virgo and you don't like routines, don't date a Sun or Virgo. Sun and Virgos, a lot of people criticize them. You have to understand, Sun represents the energy we put out, okay? So because this is the energy we put out, it could influence how people react to us or treat us, okay? Based on the energy they're projecting. So if we have a perfectionistic, critical type of energy, people are going to be like that with us. So Sun and Virgos do get a lot of criticism. They do get a lot of criticism. A lot of their performance and the way they're behaving is put through critique. And I know this, you know, because I was raised with a lot of criticism. Also, the Sun deals with our sexual energy, okay? The Sun rules sex, especially in the leisure way. How it just basically fun sex, having sex for fun, and how we enjoy ourselves and perform through sex. So when it comes to Sun and Virgos, this placement can manifest two ways, okay? I'll start with the positive way, which is Sun and Virgos can be really good at sex, simply because they're very practical. This is an earth sign, so they're physical, and sex is a very physical activity, and they're into the details. They're into studying. Virgo is very critical, very much about learning and picking up skills. So anything they do, they pick up, they learn, they absorb. Especially when it's something as practical and physical as sex. You know, there's an emotional, spiritual side, but there's also the physical aspect of it. So just on a practical level, Sun and Virgos could just be very good at sex, very good at studying a person's body, very good at being flexible within sex. You know, they could just kind of like play whatever position is needed. It's they and this is with earth signs in general. They view sex as work, you know, something you get into work with. So the sexual performance of a Sun and Virgo could be really good. These people could be really good at pleasing their partners and sexual energy and how to execute it on a practical, physical way, which is very powerful sexually, which is very good. So Sun and Virgos can be really good at sex, very good at the details, really know how to maneuver through the bedroom. However, it also manifests as Sun and Virgos being very insecure with sex as well too. Maybe Sun and Virgos, because they're very critical, it can manifest in a way where they're really good at sex and they're really studying it, but it can also bring up insecurities. Am I good enough? Am I doing the right thing? Does my body look good? You know, Sun and Virgos could be very insecure about their bodies. Like, I don't want to have sex because I don't want someone seeing my body. They could be very nervous, very self-conscious. They could be thinking that they're not doing a good job even though they are. So, it's a very, you know, interesting perspective. At one point, it could be very good in terms of like perfecting, you know, the physical, you know, activity of sex, but then it can also be an issue when it comes to insecurities and whether you're doing a good job or not and being too perfectionistic. So be careful, and you can like be in any spectrum, anywhere in between this, but just be aware. Also with sexual energy, with the Sun and Virgos, they could be very anti like sex, like they're not ready to be out there having sex, so they're very conservative with sex, not having sex. Being like their sign, the Virgin sign, we're ruled by we're symbolized by the Virgin. Okay, so a lot of Sun Virgos can be very like cautious about sex, like not wanting to have sex, especially with like diseases and stuff like that. We're very health orientated. So you can have two types of Virgos. You can have the Virgo that is really much like the Virgin. Okay, a lot of people say Virgos are not like the Virgin at all, and I'm here to tell you, no, there are Virgos who are very much like the Virgin, not trying to have sex, very cautious about it, very insecure with it, don't really want to get all nasty, don't want to get any diseases. So there is that type of Virgo. And then there's the other Virgo. There's a Virgo who does have a lot of sex, and that's because they like routine. So the reason why you can see a lot of Virgos having a lot of sexual activity, those type of Virgos, is because they like routine. So something that's pleasure pleasing like sex, okay? And then you put routine on top of that. These are people who constantly are having sex, like they have a partner that they do it with all the time, or they have certain people that they do it with all the time. They make sure it's a routine within their life. So yes, you can have, again, the Virgin Virgo, which is like, I don't want to touch anyone. Ooh, I'm too shy. Clean me. Or you can have the one that's like, I need to have it every single day. Who's going to have it with me Monday? Who's going to have it with me Tuesday? What am I doing Wednesday? How am I putting it into my schedule every single day? So it could be very intense with those two things. Okay, so if you don't believe in the whole Virgin, that's because you're probably dealt with the Virgo who is like obsessed with sex and doing it in a routine basis every single day. Or you can meet with the Virgin, who the Virgo who's like more virgin, very shy, doesn't want to touch anyone. Alright, or you could be both depending on the season. So definitely Sun and Virgo sexual energy. Also, when we talk about our sun signs, we're also talking about our father figures, our masculine figures. Okay, these people who had these type of influence on us. The moon represents like the mother figure, the sun represents the father figure, and it could be anybody, honestly. When we say father, we're just talking about the masculine figure. It could have been your mother too, because some people don't have fathers. So your mother was the example of structure and masculine energy. Regardless of what it is, because it's in Virgo, your father figure or your masculine figures could have been influence you very much on work. Like masculine energy, you associate masculine energy, your father or whatever, with work, routine. I know this for myself because with my father and my stepfather, all of them were workers. And even my mother, workers. So it's influenced me to be a workaholic, be a worker as well too. And I definitely associate masculine energy with being productive, being about your work. Like anytime, like, my mom's single now, but, when she was married, again, my father and my stepfather, they were workers. They were always working, complaining about working, talking about working, always work. It was just always work. And I associated that with masculine energy. And that's how I kind of identify myself a lot too, and what I think about it. But yes, the masculine figure could have been definitely your father, or even your mother, or it could have been your uncle, or it could have been someone you watch on TV, could have influenced you based off of work. A lot of that masculine energy was all about work, work, work. And also not just work, but also criticism, perfectionism. Maybe your father was a perfectionist, always critiquing you, always teaching you. You know, Virgo is a very like teaching, criticizing, coaching type of energy. So maybe your father figure was always criticizing you, being very, or not criticizing you, but being very critical of you, critical of your work, how well you're doing in school. You know, it was about work, 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 get your chores done, get your this done, get that done. You know, be productive. What are you doing? So you associate masculinity with all things Virgo, which again is routine, work, perfectionism, criticism, looking into the details. Helping, okay? You could have had a father figure always helping, working, aiding. You know, I remember my father, he passed away when I was very little, but I remember our earliest memories, you know, I was working with him. You know, he had a vacuum, and he gave me a vacuum. He's like, you know what I'm saying, you gotta clean up like the whole thing. So I was like vacuuming everything. And I remember it was like, those little memories I had with him were all based off of like work and helping and doing like little chores here and there. And I remember he brought me to the church and like he had me vacuuming like the whole church, and I was doing that with him. So I didn't have too many memories because my father passed away when I was very young. I don't have too many memories, but all the memories I have with him, it was some type of work or service. So again, like this is again like the masculine influence was based off of Virgo energy, which is being helped, being working, being critical, being of service, you know. So but yes, that is Sun in Virgo. Okay, my Sun's in Virgo. Happy early birthday to all the Virgos. Definitely an amazing placement. Just be careful with the criticism because Sun is such an expressive, fun energy. It rules Leo. You know, with your Sun in Virgo, you don't want to restrict yourself so much. Yes, we want to be perfect. Yes, we got to work. Yes, we got to look into the details. But if we don't reach that mark, it's okay. Just give it your best shot. You know, because Sun in Virgos, again, you can be so critical. You bring yourself down. And you don't even understand that you're doing work better than half of them. You're doing the best work. But because you're so critical, it's like you bring your energy and your spirit down. So that's my biggest thing with Sun in Virgos is don't bring your spirit down with all this perfectionism. Just give it your best shot. And just be happy that that's what you did. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is Sun in Virgo. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to book a reading with me, you certainly can. All you have to do is email me at samastroreadings@gmail.com. And I could definitely do a birth natal chart reading with you, or astro, or both. Just email me and I'll definitely get back to you. Okay? And I'll check you guys out on the next video. Thanks for watching.